Alright, guys. I think you like money topics. I like money topics. I want to talk to you about how people in some cities can make about $160 for about 4 hours of work. Maybe up to 8 hours, depending how fast you work. Um, I waited a while to post this because I wanted to make sure that the payout would come on time so I could have a full report. Now, I've talked about this before. So if you hear my other episode about apartment mystery shopping with EPMS, Ellis Online, if you Google that, you can register for free. Um, you can check out the map. I don't know if you have to be registered first to check out the map or just go on there and check out the map. But you do have to log in, so you probably have to be registered first and then look at the map, see if your area even has any shops available anywhere within a drivable distance for you. And then you can filter to see what the shops require. So, I'll explain this. I think that's from start to finish for the most part how this works. And I talked about it before, but that would be the first step. You have to sign up, you have to go online, you have to make your own account. I think it takes like a day or two for them to approve you, and you have to watch the tutorials to be able to be ready to actually do the gigs. So basically what this is it's a mystery shop gig where you go in as if you are a potential renter, and you basically schedule with the real estate specialist or the real estate agent to have an appointment by the deadline that's set by these companies. And sometimes it's a specific person, those are harder. A lot of times it's anybody, those are good, because then you, as long as somebody answers, which lately they have not been doing very good at answering, but as long as somebody answers, you'll be able to get it. Like you'll be able to do the you'll be able to schedule the gig to go do it. Now, I've done them in a couple cities. So I got paid out for 4. So the reason why I say it's 4 hours of work, the survey for me takes about 4 hours. Sorry. The one survey takes about 1 hour. Sorry, I misspoke. And I've been trying to do about one per week, schedule one per week to go and view. So 2 of them I viewed in my own hometown. One of them was in San Pedro, one of them was in Long Beach. There's one that I want to view in Harbor City. There's another one I want to view in, well, 2 that I want to view in Long Beach coming up. And then I think there's another Harbor City one that never responded yet. So I think you get paid about $5 for attempting calls if the places never respond. And then you have to communicate with the person by messages, by mail, the places that are hiring out these companies. But all you really do once you're signed up is click on them and add them to your list. And it's real work. I mean, like, you do have to call and schedule. You're calling like 3, 4, 5 times a day sometimes. So it's not like you're doing 0, but it's not that hard. Like, even if you're working, you can take a work break. like during your work breaks, if you called at like your 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock work break, if you called during your lunch break, and if you called uh, at your 3 o'clock break or whatever time, you know, that would be sufficient. So you could still do this while working. And some places have weekend availability to view. It just depends on the property. So some of them, you have to use this hidden camera that they'll send you like overnight. And I haven't done those yet because you have to qualify by doing a certain amount of shops first to be able to be trusted enough to do it and send it back. Or you have to be, and those pay more. They pay like 60, 65. I've seen them up to like 70 or so. 80 is more rare because they have the bonus, so it's like $40. I don't think I've seen any shops less than $40. And the ones that I sign up for, I just go in. Now I do make an audio recording when I go in, but it's not it's not a requirement. And yeah, I make an audio recording when I go in, but it's not like required. I just do it because it's more comfortable for me to have proof of going in. There was one where I was supposed to meet with a specific agent, but that person, when I got to the site, they were on site, but somebody else met with me. They still counted that one. I still got the $40 for that one. The most recent one I did, I think it was too late to qualify for this specific payout. So it'll come September 22nd. That's my next payout date. And so September 22nd, yeah, with that being my next payout date, I'm going to see how many I can get done. I'm trying to do one a week, but sometimes, I'll accept them. But then it's like you can't really determine who's going to answer when. And so say, like, for example, the 2 that I want to do in Long Beach, I want to schedule them on the same day, kind of like an hour apart, so I won't be like rushed. It doesn't take like an hour to really view. But some cities, you'll have to drive to them, do the parking, be there on time, meet the person, get shown around. Sometimes they want to show you more. I'd say it takes 15 to 30 minutes to get shown around. But if they're going above and beyond and showing you a whole bunch of stuff, the longest one took me an hour, and then still going back to write the report. So that's why I say it's 4 hours if you count just the work of, like, say best case scenario, you call first day, they answer, you either go see them that day or the next day, and then you write your report the day that you saw them, and it'll take like an hour to write the report. And if the place where you're driving is like 10 minutes from your home, it's really not that much extra time out of your way. But if you're driving like 30 minutes out, that means you're gonna have to drive 30 minutes back, right? And then still, once you're there, you're gonna have to view the property and everything, and then once you come home, you're gonna still write the report. So that would be maybe like 15-20 minutes on site, an hour round trip of driving, an hour of submitting the report. So it's up to you to determine what's worth it for you. But for me, because I can do Uber Eats in pretty much any area, I like to try to get the gigs around 11, and then if I want to make more money, like make up the gas that I was spending for the day or something, just do a couple Uber Eats deliveries, something like that, where it's like you can kind of make it worth your time if you have more time to do more stuff. But $40, it's $40 minimum if they answer and you go and you submit the report and you do it right. It's $40. I mean, that's probably the easiest $40 you can make. In all honesty, of all the gigs that I've found, that's probably the easiest. Like, you don't really, it's not like you're going into a store talking to somebody. It's not like you have to go purchase something and then get reimbursed for it. Um, and those types of gigs are fine too, but this one I feel like is, like, if you're interested in looking at properties and if you are actually trying to move, like I am interested in moving, maybe not necessarily in this city, but you know, it's the price ranges and everything are comparable. And so I like seeing what's out there, and then kind of comparing, like, okay, like this one costs this much, but it has, this deposit criteria, or this, maybe, looking at things like the parking, like $35 a month for parking sometimes. And it's like, well, does it even have street parking? Like places like Long Beach, you don't really have street parking. So if you think about it, if you're paying for a studio at like $2,100 a month, and that's before utilities, you know, and even if the apartments are kind of like luxury like, with like, washer dryer in unit, if you have like dishwasher in unit, garbage disposal, full sink, full oven, full stove, full fridge and freezer, um you know like those kind of smart dials for your central air, and all these types of things, you can kind of determine, some places have like gyms, pools, barbecue areas, outdoor patios, all of that. So it's like, that's like what I've seen so far, best case scenario. And then you're paying $35 a month parking, and then on top of that, utilities. I mean, you're paying like probably 2,500, 2,600 or so for a studio sometimes. And then I've seen them as low as like, I think the lowest I saw was like in the 1,400, 1,500 range, that had like nothing exciting going on with it. It was just pure housing, like they were repainting everything and redoing the floors and everything like that. But other than that, you know, it wasn't the nicest of communities. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but like it wasn't like the nicest of places compared to the other one that I mentioned. But it's like it still had everything, and it was still cheaper than another one that I saw that had these little studios that were like, I think they were 1,800 or something like that, and they just had like a hot plate and like a microwave with an air fryer, which is still enough. Like, I'm not knocking it, but it's like when you compare some of these to the others, you're like, okay, like that's really expensive for what you're getting. So you can kind of tell, like, okay, this is what it would look like if I was gonna spend this amount. Like, even if it says $2,100 for rent, you're actually paying like, you know, 2,600 or 2,400 or something like that. Once you add Wi-Fi, once you add parking, once you add like gas, electric, water, stuff like that, like you're paying way more sometimes. So I don't know. Uh, and sometimes it's a little troubling to see how many vacancies there are. Like when you see a place, like when you look on their website and you're like, oh, there's like a bunch of vacancies. And even if it's a nice building, it's like, well, are people moving out because the rent is higher or what? So it's kind of hard to really gauge what's really going on. But yeah, I've been kind of like enjoying. I'm kind of like, I find it to be enjoyable. It's fun if you just want to get out of the house and make a little bit of cash. Now, I don't think, at least in my city, and I'm in LA, so like there are options. Like if I wanted to drive downtown or by LAX or up in Hollywood, there's like way more options in other areas that are a little more distant, but there are options out there. And so you could technically drive to more places and do more. But, I'm kind of like, I don't really want to be driving all around like that. So, I don't know. I think you could. So let me see. I'm gonna try and look at the site and see if it can show me what is going on in the city right now. If I click on I want to see projects near me, and then I gotta filter to take this off of. So I don't want to do the ones where I would be a backup shopper. I don't want to do the ones where I would have to use video. And I don't want to do the ones where I have to use a recording. So for me, with that, so far there aren't any in my region. The closest ones would be Marina Del Rey, Culver City, Skid Row region, Whittier, Anaheim, Orange, Fountain Valley, and Huntington Beach. So those would be the closest ones to me. Of the ones I haven't already signed up for, of the ones where you don't have to use any form of recordings. If you want to do a telephone recording, there's a little bit more, but they're still within that radius. If I take out the telephone and then walk in to the on-site, then there aren't any. If I turn on video, there's one in Long Beach, one before Garden Grove from Long Beach, and then if I want to do backup, there's another backup one in Long Beach. And I don't know what kind this is, if it's a video shop. So if I click on it and it says you're not currently assigned to this shop, so you can review it. And does it say that you have to do video footage? Because this one does say anytime. So they have labels like white collar, white and blue collar, another blue collar. Like, it kind of tells you a little bit about it. So this is one that I'll consider. I don't like being a backup shopper, but I'd rather be a backup shopper than nothing if I don't have to use like the camera or whatever. I don't really know though. So that's kind of what it looks like. I mean, it's hard to explain. It's hard for me to kind of like talk about it to explain it, but you just get paid per gig, but you get paid out on the 22nd of the month. So minimum you're gonna make $40. If you can make more, it's possible to make more. I'm considering getting some type of like a Bluetooth mic or something, like a tiny Bluetooth mic or something, because when I have my phone in my pocket, it's like slushing around and you can't really hear that good unless I'm like standing still, and I don't want to have my phone out just like walking around with my phone all the time, because that's a little strange. I mean, it makes sense though, because people take pictures of apartments when they view them and stuff. And you can kind of take friends with you. I mean, like, not like a whole group of friends, but like I've done it where I've taken a person with me, and you just, it's kind of fun. Like, you can just take somebody with you, go out to lunch after, Just like, I think it would just be hard if you worked a weekday 9 to 5, because those are usually the most ideal times to actually go and do it in person. I mean, to call them and do it in person. And so it's pretty easy, like, it's pretty flexible. You just have to keep in communication with like, using the mail option to email the people who are hiring for the project. Because once you sign up for it, say, for example, I have two of them that were scheduled for yesterday, but I haven't gotten in touch with either one of them. And so one of them is already messaging me like, yo, what's up? You haven't made that many calls. And then the other one already extended it to be till tomorrow. And so, you know, I'm trying to get in touch, but I'm also like, you know, like, I've got other stuff to do too. So, I'm going to try to make the calls this morning. You can call them 30 minutes apart. But I feel like you're not supposed to get caught as a mystery shopper. Like, you won't get in trouble, but like, they're not supposed to find you out. And so I don't want to I feel like it's weird to call like 3, 4 times, 5 times every single day to me and leave a message every time. To me, that's weird. But I do need to call more today. So once I can do that, I will do that. But then I might add that extra Long Beach one to the list as well, because it's for anybody. But then there's also a backup, so that means if somebody else opts out, because that means somebody else has already like signed on to it. If somebody else opts out or cancels it, saying that they don't want to do it anymore because this person isn't answering, then that means that I could step in. And then there's another phone call. There's a phone call one I need to finish. This is just a phone call. I think you get paid $5 or $10 for just the phone call ones. So there's some in LA that they sent me a list and they're like, do one of these. And so I have to pick one to try to do. So I don't know. I'm about to do that after I eat breakfast, and then it does take a little bit. Like, it takes, like, not all of them are like call same day, get the appointment, go right in. That's like best case scenario. So that's the part that I would say takes a little while. Like, if you don't have a lot of free time, something like this might be a little difficult. But if you can find, an hour out of a week, and wait till the new projects drop, because I don't really remember when they start the new projects. I don't remember if it's the first of the month or whatever, where they have new availability to go out and sign up for more. Like, you wanna sign up for as many as you can when they first come out, because if you wait like even a day, you know, you'll get the ones that nobody else wants. But then sometimes new ones do pop up, and then they do email you a lot. Like, I get like 2, 3 emails from EPMS like every single day. So, and you can't really unsubscribe from their emails, because then it cancels you from doing the services. So you have to get the emails, and some of them have nothing to do. Like, they're just trying to like entice you to do more and more and more. So they're like, go do this one. But I'm like, I don't want to drive all the way to downtown LA. So it's like, if I wanted to do that, I would have signed up. So sometimes they're like, oh, there's some in your area. And then you look and it's like not in your area. It's like, that's like 30, 40 miles from me. It's not in my area. And so it's like, there is a lot of, that's annoying. I find it to be annoying that you can't unsubscribe from those types of emails. But I'm getting hungry. I'm going to eat breakfast. But yeah, I would encourage people, if you see it in your city, it's not in every city, but if you see it in your city, sign up. You can do it. It's easy work. The survey takes about an hour to finish if you're just kind of going at like an average speed, because it is like 4 or 5 pages, I think, of like information. Then you have to go back in at the 5-day mark and answer another question that asks you, did they try to reach back out to you? by like phone or email or any other way of trying to contact you to follow up about the appointment. So it's like you kind of don't finish it for like almost 5 days. Like you submit the main report and then there's another period where you have to like go back in and do that part. So yeah, but it's good work. If you just want to pay for like, you know, something simple once a month or whatever, you could probably knock out a bill, knock out a credit card payment, knock out, you know, 2 tanks of gas. You know, I made $160 from doing 4 of them so far. 4 of them that counted towards this paycheck. I think the one that I did on Friday, I guess, that one didn't count towards this paycheck. So it's going to count towards my next September 22nd paycheck. So I've already got $40 coming for that one. And then if I can get these other 3 done, that'll be another $160, and then add like the $5 phone call one on top of that. And so if I shoot for 1 a week, that's really not overwhelming at all. Especially because I have other stuff I can do when I go to these parts of the city. So if I even want to make up the gas that I spent or whatever, I can just use that extra time to do Uber Eats in that area, something like that. But I mean, $160 isn't nothing. And it's pretty easy. Like, it's not really that complicated of work. All you're doing is viewing apartments and then writing a survey, filling out a survey about your experience. And it does help to audio record it, because if you audio record it, you get like a little bit of audio recording helps. So at least it gives you some backup to like go back if you want to like listen to things. Like, it tracks the calls because you have to call out when you call the real estate person. It tracks your calls, so you have to know like what time you called and like how long the call was, how long it took for them to answer, all that stuff. Like, it's all going to be in your notes already because it's all electronic. But like all those phone calls you make, because it dials out through their system, it's all like recorded, so you can go back and listen to the phone calls you made or the voicemails you left and all that. So you're not like having to like frantically be writing all these notes all over the place. That's what I did at first. I was like, oh, like I'm gonna need to keep track of this, and then it turned out I didn't really need to keep track of it like that, so it wasn't a big deal. But it's kind of fun. I like it enough to keep doing it, because it adds up and it's not that hard. And like, I'm driving around anyways, so it doesn't make that much of a difference to me. I'm not going to choose the ones that are really far away, unless maybe if I have plans to go to a concert or plans to visit with a friend out in those areas, then I'll be like, okay, let me do like a gig, and then if I know I'm going to be out there. So that's all I gotta say for now, and with that, thanks for listening.